Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Laura of LKG 329 Sales on eBay, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. I've got a little different background for this intro as we are currently out of town when I'm recording it. However, in today's video, I've got some behind the scenes motivational footage from a couple of days of cleaning and listing items to resell on eBay, so let's get to it. So the footage for this video was started on February 10th, and I began working at 6:58 that evening, as you saw on the timestamp from my phone. I'm just working on giving a deeper clean to several pairs of shoes that I had accumulated over the months from various yard sales and garage sales. I had actually thrown most of these in the washing machine to attempt a quicker cleaning process, but that did not go as well as I hoped it would. So I am now going back and cleaning each one individually by hand to give it a better cleaning. To do this, I just have a bit of laundry detergent that's been diluted with water. I probably used around 2 teaspoons of laundry detergent diluted with a 1/2 to 3/4 cup of water, and I'm using a little miniature nail brush that came with a manicure set from the Dollar Tree that I didn't need to scrub the solution onto the fabric parts of the shoes and give them a good scrubbing. I also took the shoelaces off of the shoes and let them soak for a few moments in that mixture before swishing them around and rubbing them together in my hands, then wringing them out and drying them with a microfiber cloth. I got a pack of these cloths at Walmart. They were priced at $18 for a pack of 40 when I purchased them, which was by far the best deal of the options that they had available at the time. I'm also wearing gloves while I'm cleaning these since I am working with detergent, and especially once I get to the shoes that weren't put into the washer the first time, as there's absolutely no telling where these shoes have previously been. Hence also the reason I am scrubbing the bottoms of them very well, trying to make sure that they are as clean as possible. So all the shoes that I've cleaned up to this point are Vans Off the Wall brand shoes. This pair that I'm working on now are actually Converses, which I ended up having to soak the shoelaces for these in bleach to get as much of the staining as I could from the metal grommets that the shoelaces go through. They weren't perfect when I finished cleaning at the end of the night, but it didn't appear that the stains were fading anymore, so I rinsed them out and just called it good enough and moved on. And this next pair are Sperry brand, which were probably the best pair condition-wise of all these. And then also there is a pair of Austin boots that I'll work on next, which were by far the absolute dirtiest pair of the bunch. I really should have knocked off as much of the dirt as possible outside before cleaning them by hand, but it was dark and it was cold outside since it was only mid-February while I was working on these, so I did end up spending a good bit of extra time getting those cleaned up, but it was definitely worth it once I finished with them. At this point, my husband was kind enough while I was cleaning these shoes to go to the store for me and get a pack of the Mr. Clean melamine sponges to help clean the rubbery portions of the shoes, as the detergent just really wasn't doing the best job. So I did spend some time going back over those spots with it. Didn't go quite as I thought it would. The sponge really ended up, it was just being shredded to pieces by the shoes, but in the end it really did help with the overall appearance of the shoes. This last pair is another from the Vans line, but these have the Velcro closure and they are suede, which I've discovered is not the easiest material to clean. I kind of have buyer's remorse about this purchase, but they were one of, if not the first pair of shoes that I bought, and the main reason I bought them was because of the fact that they are Vans. So at this point, I've decided to call it a night and started cleaning up a little bit. So it is now 9:38. So it took about 3 hours to get all that done. And on to the next day, I got started just after lunch around 1:43 in the afternoon. I had actually started by updating the pictures for this John Deere tractor cookie jar. I didn't clean it up very well before I took the first set of pictures, so I decided to give it a good hand washing and retook those photos. After doing that, I got out all the shoes that I had cleaned the night before, which were dry, and found a few more pair of gently used, personally worn, low-heeled dress shoes. I had just kind of settled for these while I was looking for some to replace my older dress shoes, but have since found ones that I absolutely love, so I decided to sell these and try to recover at least some of what I spent on them. And now it's time for some research and drafting. So I took each pair and looked up the comps to get an idea of the price to list these at, and then created the draft with my particular pair's information. This is one of my least favorite parts of the process, but it does have to be done just like the rest of it. I also get the weight and DIMS information for the shipping while I'm working on the drafts. So once I had all the drafts for the shoes ready to go, I grabbed a few other easy to clean items, gave them a good hand wash or wipe down with some Mr. Clean all-purpose cleaner according to that particular item's needs, and worked up some drafts for those as well, including the weight and shipping information. After I completed those drafts for the extra items, I took a moment to clear and wipe down the table to get ready for taking some pictures. But before then, it was about 2:30 at this point, and I decided to take a break and fixed up my favorite smoothie before getting back to it at 3:45. So I just use my phone for taking photos of the items. I simply open the eBay app on my phone and go to my drafts list. I start with whatever item has landed at the top of that list and start taking the photos. So when I do my photos, I do those in batches, whatever's convenient per batch. And so I started with these 4 items here. And once I had all the photos done, I started to put them on the listed shelving and got them out of the way and brought out the shoes to start taking photos of those next. Once I made it back to the lace-up Vans, I did look up a YouTube video tutorial on how to lace them up to give them a better aesthetically pleasing look. And so it took a bit to get that done for each pair, but it was definitely worth it for the picture's sake. So if you've noticed the TV in the background, I did have several different eBay channels playing in the background while I was working on this stuff, such as Old School Picker, Downstad Picker, Grams and Pops Vintage, Mountain Man Treasures, Flippin' Ain't Easy, and a few other different ones. I don't remember exactly all of the channel names that I was watching during these 2 particular days, but I was doing that those 2 days. However, it did end up proving to be a little counterproductive because I kept getting distracted by what was going on and being said in the videos. So now I pretty well just listen to music or something that doesn't catch my eye or distract me while I'm working. So now that all the photos have been taken for each item, I have 15 drafts that are completed and ready to list. I will then take a few moments to schedule these listings out. I do use the eBay scheduled listing feature. That is one of my favorite features that eBay offers. I know in the past, apparently there was a 10-cent fee when you scheduled out listings, but I'm assuming that was something that changed shortly before or very shortly after I started reselling on eBay, because I've never been charged that 10-cent fee. So I absolutely love that that is a free feature that eBay offers. During this time, I was doing 5 listings a day, so I had enough listings for that particular day as well as the following 2 days, so I had 10 more scheduled listings after this, and I had all this completed by 5:29 that evening. So before we end the video, I've got some numbers for those of you who are interested in that. So the total time that I spent cleaning and listing was 6 hours and 10 minutes, which I rounded up to 8 hours to include some time for sourcing and shipping. That may be a bit high, but I'm very slow at shipping, so I went ahead and went up to the 8 hours. I ended up having a total listings count of 15. The total listed price for these items was $253.27. My cost of goods is at $22.50, which that does not include the price that I paid for the 4 pairs of shoes that I personally owned and decided to sell. I did not include the cost of those because they were personal items and were not purchased with the intention of reselling them. They are just items that I no longer needed and decided to sell. So I do put a 0 cost of goods on those particular items. You may do that differently, and that is perfectly fine. This is just the way that I do this. So my estimated eBay fees for all these items after they are sold is about $35 when you do it at 12% plus the 30-cent final listing or final value fee. My potential profit could be as high as $195.77, though I do not expect it to be that high. And once you divide that by 8 hours, I have a potential hourly rate of $24.47 for these 15 items. So I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Feel free to hit that like button if you did, and leave me a comment if you have any feedback or questions in regards to this video, or even suggestions for future content that you would like to see. Also, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can be notified when new videos are posted. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.